The animal no one expected come in this pack, the Asian water monitor, is one that I quickly fell in love with because of its deep diving animations. In order to display that, I wanted to give it a little bit of a flooded forest vibe for its exhibit, and I'll go into details about how I made that, so welcome everyone to Castaway Keys. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Castaway Keys. Hope you guys enjoyed the intro. My name is Leaf, and it's so great to have you guys back over here as we continue on Castaway Keys and start to develop the rest of the island a little bit more. So this episode, it's kind of split into two different parts. So we kind of start off with this kind of like weird beach walk, kind of like built up town theming. I really don't know just yet. I only got halfway done with it and I was like, okay, we can save that part for the next episode. But what I really wanted to focus on for this episode particularly is the Asian water monitor habitat. But a little something happened where we'll need to touch on that in a little bit. But regardless, we should probably talk about what I'm kind of doing over here. So one of the main things, what I want to do down here is have this nice kind of built up. Maybe it's old ruins, maybe it's old temples, I don't really know. But I definitely did want a little bit of a structure over here as we reach the other island. Now, we don't get started building on the other island just yet. That's going to be such a fun theme. I can't wait to get into it with all of you guys. But before we do that, I did want to get started by kind of working on the rock work around here. I'm having such a blast with this kind of rock work. It's not really anything that I've done before, but it's so fun because of that. So I'm having this little bit of like these really ocean carved rocks all throughout here, and it just looks super awesome when it's all together. I don't know, I just really like it. So I kind of do all that stuff right there, and we have a nice little bridge that passes right over that little waterway in between there. And yeah, I just particularly can't wait to get started on that section, but we don't start in it just yet. One of the things I did want to do, however, is just make this section feel like it's a little bit more meant to be here. So I start to add a few things like some rocks. I just start to add a little bit more infrastructure back here. And the original idea was to have like these nice statue walls or something right there. But I realized that we're working with a lovely kind of like vista point right here. So I'm like, I don't want to ruin that just yet. Instead, I'm just going to keep this relatively open and put these mulch patches over here just so that we have a way to, you know, get some more plants in here. Maybe get some flowers and stuff. There's plenty of flowers all throughout the rest of the build, but I'm kind of like, what other kinds of plants can we throw in there? We'll get to that in a little bit though. Maybe the next episode, maybe the one after that. But what I'm doing back over here is just helping to centralize the build a little bit more and build up kind of like the main infrastructure. And one of my favorite things over here, I have to give a huge shout out to my good buddy Stoppable San, as well as my other buddy Zekin. So these lovely creators made this beautiful Planet Zoo park called Hutan Rimba. It's a beautiful Indonesian-inspired park, and it is just so filled with inspiration. But one of the things that I really wanted to kind of take away from that park were these beautiful orange walls, especially using these bronze plinths from the, I believe it's the classic theme for Planet Zoo. I thought that's a really, really awesome color combination because you get so many different, like, dark browns, you get the nice kind of light sage green. It's a really beautiful mix when it's all together, and that's something I really wanted to demonstrate right there. So I have a few of those pieces all throughout there, and of course having an absolute blast with all of these Indonesian pieces that we got in the pack. It's so fun just to be able to put these little sets together, and this is officially like its own little wall set, so I just really do love to see that stuff. And it's completely modular, so I kind of copy pasted a few times throughout here, and I kind of have it kind of circle around this build right here, and it kind of sets itself up to be like this nice colorful backdrop for whatever this section is. I really am not sure just yet. Maybe we'll throw something in there in a little bit, but I don't know. We'll certainly see. Over here, we get started on the Asian water monitor habitat itself. It's a little bit messy in the back, but it all works when all is said and done. But I should probably talk about this. So I got about halfway done with this habitat, and I saved the game, right? You know, I didn't expect anything wrong with it. And then I loaded it up the next day, finished the speed build, finished the cinematics, and then I realized I forgot to save the game. So either you guys just let me know in the comments down below. This is like essential poll time. I want to know what you guys have to say. Do you guys want me to kind of go through here and do a complete one-to-one where it's like I try and make up for all this stuff that I lost? Or would you guys rather see me change it up? If you guys aren't really feeling it, I am not offended at all. I would honestly love to remake it if you guys would like to see that. Or if you guys want me just to put it back the way it was, I'm more than happy to do that too. Either way, it's going to be a really awesome build once it's all done, and it is a really awesome speed build to be said. Don't click off, it's so fun just to see the cinematics in here. But what I do down here is I separate the two water levels with a piece of mulch, and I kind of work around that once I actually do get there. But one of the things I did want to include back here was just another holding building. I typically like to do stuff on this. I like to layer these builds on top of each other. So you can see I have that little holding area back there that we copied from the Gibbons, and I kind of play around with it a little bit more, just have it feel like it makes a little bit more sense in this speed build itself. And moving off of there, one of the things I wanted to do was actually create these lovely little dynamic viewing galleries for the guests to actually view our little reptilian friends as they deep dive. I still can't believe that, y'all. Like, just the fact that we have deep diving monitors is just so cool to see. I am still very upset that we don't have deep diving for the Nile monitor just yet. It is so sad to see. But honestly, I bet some mods will actually fix that up, really, just so that we are able to port that over to the other rig. Yada yada yada. I really hope that we're able to get that. Either way, one of the things I did over there was just kind of duplicate the stuff on top and bring it down below. One of the challenges of building for these guys is that their habitats really aren't this big. But I've noticed that in Planet Zoo, a lot of the times when you are building for animals like this, especially semi-aquatic animals, when you want to build for a small semi-aquatic animal, you always build so much bigger than they're supposed to have. And while I kind of, you know, have fun with this build, it is a little bit of a challenge when I'm looking at, like, my other parks and stuff like that. So when I do end up building for these guys, if I actually have them in there, that is, for, like, Zoo Sarasota or one of my other realistic projects, it's kind of like, oh god, they're not really going to be able to move. I mean, I remember back at Capron Park Zoo when they actually did have Asian water monitors, they are in a tiny, like, exhibit box-sized enclosure. And they were totally fine with that. It's not like they really need anything else more than that, but it's just so interesting just to be able to see that come into play. Like, you would really think that they would need a lot more space, but I don't know. Who knows? I don't, that is. So, working on the background over here, I want to add a few trees and a few plants and really help this area feel a lot more lush than the rest of the zoo, because this feels like it would be a little bit more of a flooded forest, as I said before. A little bit more of a section that was overtaken by the elements, overtaken by nature, and like that, I'm trying to add as much nature as possible. So I'm using a few different techniques in here. I'm using like a mix of like the mulch patches, which I think really helps settle like a nice kind of tropical vibe, and also throwing a whole bunch of like the Scavlovia bushes, because those are super awesome just to, you know, just throw in like a lot more lushness into your habitats. Adding a few more ferns and like all of those different plants and stuff. I thought this was super cool. Just putting that little tree branch right there as a way to kind of indicate where the water line stops. I feel like that was super fun just to be able to do. So on like the other note, I keep on adding a few rocks, especially on that little mulch part right there. I was very inspired by Vihoha, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, with his, oh, damn it, I forget his actual park name, but he had a lovely beaver habitat where it was like just so friggin' awesome. You guys just look up Vihoha beaver, and I'm sure it'll pop up. It's not a speed build, but it still does some really incredible stuff. So I was very inspired by that to get that like multi-water layer habitat view. I thought that was kind of cool to do. But moving off of there, I was like, alright, we have all this water, we have nothing below it, let's start to add some plants. Obviously, we're not going too crazy with like custom plants down here. I'm going very tried and true with this combination. I'm just doing like the eelgrass, I'm doing the hydrilla grass, and I'm also using the temple plants. Very fitting this time around. I also add a few ponytail palms throughout here, and I also add a few lilies as well, just help keep it nice and vibrant. And I also add a few waterfalls, I think. Yeah, I end up having the waterfall in here. Yep, okay, so I use the rapid pieces instead, and I kind of discolor them. So I bring that, like, the darkness a little bit lower, so that you get a little bit more of a naturalistic looking waterfall rather than like this bright white one. Even though when it's bright white, it looks good for certain things, like back in Wildwoods when I was working on that moose habitat and you had like the big white water rapids happening behind it. One of the things I wanted to have it be nice bright white. But when you're working on a much smaller scale, it's always so much easier just to have it be nice, discolored, yada yada yada. I've been drinking, if you guys can't tell. It's been a fun DLC cycle, but I'm rewarding myself with a little bit of a drinky poo right now. So I'm adding a few other pieces throughout here. I thought to add some vines. I don't think I actually keep them. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I'm not sure. But what I do add are some flowers down below in that little flower bed right there. I was really struggling finding out what to actually put on that glass section. But I just decided if we throw a few plants down there, if we just throw a few flowers, make it pretty, make it colorful, then I feel like everyone would be super happy and everyone would enjoy it. So that is exactly what I'm going for. I also add a few more of that leaf litter down there, just to like keep it nice and feeling like a freshly shedded forest. I don't know. I probably shouldn't drink when I do commentary because I just feel like I'm making even less sense than I do when I'm sober. So adding a few like palm trees throughout here, and this is one of my favorite things too, I gotta do this when I remake it, is adding these little pots down here that have these little bubbles that come up. Oh no, I thought that was a super cute thing to do. But that is really it, my friends. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I should rework this habitat, if you think I should make like a new version of it, or if you think that, you know, I should just try and recreate it as best I can one-to-one. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the cinematics. Hope you guys are enjoying the series so far, and I can't wait to see you all in the next episode. Take care, and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Goodbye now.